All right, good morning, everyone. This is Al Powell. Um, for those of you who don't know me, I've been with World Global now since January the 5th of this year. All coming up almost on my 1 year anniversary. Can't wait to celebrate my 1 year anniversary with World Global. So Judy had asked me to jump on this webinar this morning just so I can give some pointers to you guys on certain things. And really appreciate you guys taking time out your schedule. My apologies on waking up late. Anyway, I always burn the candle at both ends. So let's go ahead and get on the way and see, can we answer some questions for you guys and get everybody on a very productive level. So first of all, Judy, one thing you asked about was the invite. How in the world am I going to invite someone to a webinar? It's not just inviting someone to a webinar. How am I going to invite someone to take a look at this? Because, you know, it's several different scenarios that we have here. First of all, how would I invite someone to even meet with me to take a look at this? And then, of course, we have people who are geographically dislocated from us, and then you would say, well, how in the world would I invite that person? For most of us, our people are geographically dislocated from us, meaning that they're not necessarily in the immediate area. So how do I invite that type of person? Yes, Judy, I'm recording this. How do I invite that person? Well, first of all, I want you guys to look at it this way. I always believe in going straight from the hip pocket. Straight from the hip pocket. First of all, we have a number of different teaser videos that we have out there. There's a number of teaser videos out there. For one, you know, we say, well, how do I pique someone's interest? Well, I like to pique someone's interest because before they sit in on a webinar that's potentially an hour long or even a half-hour webinar, you got to first capture their attention. So what we have done here is that, you know, first of all, I ask people, have you watched the amazing 3-minute video? Man, you got to check that out. You know, you show the excitement in your voice because, first of all, your excitement, your enthusiasm is going to have a big determining factor on whether or not they want to get on a webinar or whether they want to look at anything. You have to be excited about what you're doing. You have to show that excitement in your voice. You have to show passion on what you're doing, and that's going to make people want to take a look at it. I'm gonna type a video link here, and what it is www.amazing 3-minute video okay, everybody see that? www.amazing3minutevideo.com. Okay, amazing3minutevideo.com. Judy, check that for me real quick and make sure that the 3-minute is not spelled out, but I believe it's just the way I have it there. Amazing3minutevideo.com. What we wanted to do, we wanted to make sure it was something catchy, something that people could remember. We wanted to make sure that it was something that people could remember. So now when you're talking about, you know, you're not going to give them a whole lot of information. So, wow, you got to check out this amazing 3-minute video. Go to amazing3minutevideo.com. Check it out. And then, hey, I need your name and number because I want to get back with you once you've taken a look at this. Listen, never ever wait on will calls. Will calls will never call. You know, I hear people say this all the time. They say, well, I'm still waiting on my prospect to call me back. You always initiate the follow-up. Don't wait on someone else to follow up with you. So the only purpose of this is not that we put an emphasis on a specific product. What we're doing is that we're showing that sense of urgency on getting someone to take a look at something, and then we want to move them over to the webinar. Once they look at, if they say, well, yeah, I seen the amazing 3-minute video, you know, chances are they haven't unless you give them the video link. And it's just what that video entails is that it's the video on the Space Lumina glasses. It's the video on the Space Lumina glasses. Great. That's what it should go to. And it's something short. It's something that will pique their interest. And listen, let me just share this with you. When I joined World Global, I joined because I watched that video. I personally sponsored, the reason I was able to personally sponsor over 70 people in my organization, and of course we ain't doing that anymore, but the reason I was able to personally sponsor so many people, all I did was send them the video. And really, I didn't know anything about the program at that time. You know, and in the beginning, guys, you didn't heard in network marketing, we coined the phrase ignorance on fire. Be excited about what you're doing, and I promise you, you will attract a lot of people to your business. All I did was send out the video. I figured it worked on me. It would work on someone else. And listen, we know right now the Lumina glasses are not shipping. We're not going to put a lot of focus just on Lumina glasses. Right now, the Lumina glasses, Lumina glasses started shipping, but the whole idea here is we want to pique the interest of people. You got to be able to pique their interest. Then there's always a way. We all done heard of this acronym. 1 second. I'm gonna put it up here. We all of us have heard of this acronym. Now, all of us have heard of this. Oops. Okay. How many of you have heard of this acronym? We know what it stands for: family, occupation, recreation, and money. If you bring up one of those 3 things with people, you're always going to be able to break the ice. Because what we're talking about here is that we want you to talk to everyone, not just your warm market, not just go after cold leads, but we have an obligation to talk to everyone. And when we're talking to everyone, you know, you have to have the ability to walk up to someone, open your mouth, and say something. And generally speaking, you're gonna break the ice by bringing up a conversation about family. We hear it all the time. Hey, did you have a great Christmas over the holiday with your family? Well, how's the family? What about occupation? You hear this all the time. What do you do for a living? How many of you have ever been asked that question? What is it that you do? You bring the conversation up. What do you do for a living? And they're going to always come back and expect you to share with them what you do for a living. What's your occupation? We want to know. You know, it's just breaking the ice. People do it all, not that they really care, but people do it all the time. They want to break the ice. They want to know what's going on. And what about recreation? How was the game last night? You know, did you watch the game last night? You know, hey, those Bulls are really, really, really tearing it up this year, you know. So we all talk about that. And then I always say the M stand for message. What's your message? What do you want to leave them with? or it talks about, or the M could stand for money, family, occupation, recreation, or money. Bring up one of those. Said, boy, it sure was a tough year this past year. A lot of people getting laid off from work. Haven't you heard that, a lot of people getting laid off lately? But people talk about this all the time. What's your message? What's your solution for them? Hey, have you heard of World Global Network? Did you hear about this great company that just expanded here in the United States? It's a global company. All of these things is there simply to break the ice. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, right now, what do we need? We need 2 people. We don't have to be on any special system in order to go out and get 2 people on our team. Just 2. You don't have to run a special system. All you have to do is be excited about what you're doing. Those 2 people necessarily have to be network marketers. No, they don't. And here's the mistake that a lot of people make. They think that in order for them to grow in the business, they have to go and recruit network marketers. Listen, let me just kind of share this with you based on experience. Non-network marketers tend to move faster than the network marketers, the heavy hitters, the whales, and all this that you hear. They tend to make decisions slower than the average everyday person who have no experience. Trust me, I know. Don't feel as though you have to only target network marketers. I always say, give me a stay-at-home mom that's hungry and only need to earn extra money to buy milk for her children. Give me that type of person instead of someone who tell me they're going to set the world on fire and they can't even give me a spark. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on everyone. Very, very elementary what we do. And what I like to do, Dave, I always want to keep this on a very, very elementary level. The reason I want to keep it on a very elementary level, because I want to make sure, Mary, that the average everyday person feel as though they can do what we do. See, you don't have to go buy leads in order to get 2 people. You don't have to do that. See, because if you spend $1,000 to join my business, and now I got to tell you that you got to spend another $200 a month to run the system that I'm on, chances are I'm going to lose most of you that's on here. In other words, we're not trying to create an expense. We're showing you how you can keep this on an elementary level and teach everybody to duplicate. This is a business of duplication. The better we duplicate ourselves, the more money that we make. And we don't want to just add members to our team. We want to multiply in a big, big way. But you have to start off with the basics with this. And I know some of you may be networkers and you say, well, Al, I already know all this stuff. But I'm just sharing with you why I'm successful in network marketing. I do what everyone else is doing. I have at least dozens of spiral notebooks that are full of leads, people that I've done business with over the years. In other words, it would take me the next year to go through all the people I know. I want you to go through the people that you know first. Go through the people you know first. Don't sit back and feel as though, and listen, but for those people that you know and you have a great relationship with, all you have to do is let them know, hey, I value your opinion. I value your opinion. I came across an incredible opportunity the other day, and I just want to share it with you. But I value your opinion. I want you to know, hey, am I nuts or what? But I thought it looked amazing to me. But I want you to get on this webinar tonight at 6:30. And I want to know what you think of this. Give me your opinion. I value your opinion. When you're dealing with friends, what friend would tell you, no, Judy, I'm not going to get on that webinar because I don't want to give you my opinion? How many of you think that you have friends in your circle of influence that would gladly get on a webinar to give their opinion of this? How many of you have used that approach? How many of us have used that approach? But it's a very simple approach because everyone loves giving their opinion. Why? Because, Judy, you have people in your circle of influence who feel as though they are authoritarians in this area. So they would gladly give their opinion on anything that you bring to them. But they have to evaluate it. Here's another approach that I use with my friends right after I started doing the webinar. And what I would say to them is that I recently got involved with a new company. And I need to practice my presentation. When you get on the webinar at 6:30, I'm going to practice my presentation. I'm going to practice my presentation, and I want you to give me some feedback on how I can do better. That's all you want them to do. You want to practice your presentation with them. Because, look, my teammates are expecting me to be prepared to do this webinar, soon. And I want to make sure that I'm good at what I'm doing. I'm almost ready to take over the webinar with my team. But I want you to get on there so that I can practice with you. And then do a one-on-one presentation with that individual. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Let them know you need to practice your presentation with someone. And so now they get on the webinar. You do a one-on-one with them. All of us need to start practicing our presentations. What does a doctor do? What does a doctor do? Ron, what does a doctor do? A doctor practices medicine, right? Haven't you heard that term? The doctor practices medicine. What does a lawyer do? A lawyer practices law. What do we do as network marketers? We practice our business. We practice. I guarantee you, no one ever got to play in Carnegie Hall without practicing whatever musical instrument that they play. They practice. The only way you're going to overcome the fear of no is that you practice your business every single day. Now, here's what you're going to have to do. And the reason we start out at a very elementary level, because keep in mind, on this webinar, perhaps we have some people who have never been involved in network marketing. Perhaps we got some people who only been in network marketing, say, for, a year. Some people may not, some people may have 10 years, 15 years. So we treat everyone as if it's on an elementary level. Okay? Now, when we always say in this business also, if you're not experiencing any certain level of success, go back to the basics. It started out with making the contact list. How many of you have already made a contact list? And I'm talking about a serious contact list. When we're talking about a serious contact list, the average person could make a contact list of at least 100 people. There's no reason why you can't. If you threw a birthday party a week from now, who would you invite to your birthday party? This is the line you need to be thinking of. We're talking about jogging your memory here. Who am I going to invite? Don't be selective in leaving certain people out. Don't be selective. Listen, my family doctor joined my last business and he was so excited about it because the conversation came up in his office one day. He's out. What do you do for a living? He wanted to know. And he was so curious. He scheduled an appointment to meet with me at a later date outside of the reason that I was there. So what I'm saying, never ever leave anyone out. We have several different lists when we make up a list. First of all, in your warm market, we have what we call a chicken list. It's those people that you may be afraid to talk to. It's those people that you think are too successful to be doing something like this or what we're doing. Those are the people you put on your chicken list. You put them up front. Let's talk to them right away. What about your doctor? What about your CPA? Everybody that does have anything to do with your life should be on your contact list. Build that contact list. Build your contact list. And we hate to put it like this. If you died today, who you think will show up at your funeral? All of these things, take it in consideration. My birthday party. Who am I going to invite to my birthday party? You know, if I'm going to have anything, who would I invite? If I was going to invite somebody over for dinner, who would I invite to dinner? All of these things you need to do. It's much easier to go to your warm market in the beginning. The reason we don't advise you to go to your cold market in the very beginning, most people can't handle that sort of rejection. Most people can't handle that sort of rejection. If you look at all the people that I sponsored during the time that I was sponsoring Wide, I would say 90% of those people were people that I knew. 90% were people that I knew. If I'm going to do a business, why would I not go to the people that I know and respect? Why would I not do that? And a lot of people will come at a later date once you've laid the foundation. Once you laid the foundation, now you're going to have an incredible opportunity to be able to sponsor a lot more people in the business. Because a lot of people, what they would say is that, hey, I'm going to watch and see what it is Gladys is doing. Let me see if she's going to be around a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, or even a year from now. Let's see if Gladys is going to still be around. That's the attitude that most people are going to have. So your contact list. And when you're approaching the people on your contact list, make sure you have a great attitude about what you're doing. See, your attitude will determine your altitude. How far you go in this business is determined by your attitude. Really, that's what it boils down to. So the contact list is so important. I work from a list. I constantly add on to my list. It's so important. And the sense of urgency of going to people on this list. And it doesn't mean that you call them one time and then all of a sudden you go to these people, you go one time to them, they tell you no, and you're done. You don't do business that way. But you go through and at the end of that conversation, what you want to do, you know, a lot of people may say, well, you know, I'm not interested, you know, at this time. And then you come back and say, well, great. I understand this may not be for everyone, but if you decide to do this at a later date, will you at least give me an opportunity to work with you? And if it's okay with you, I'm going to follow up with you and say 30 days. Is that okay? And if they say, well, yes, sure, I'll follow up with me in 30 days. And listen, this is only going to be an update type of message. It's not that you're trying to recruit them. All you're doing is simply keeping them in the loop with what's going on with you and your business, your newfound business, World Global Network. So that's what you want to do. Always leave it open. Always leave it open when you talk with your prospect. And always assure them that you're going to follow up with them at a later date. That's why when you make your lead list, You always want to leave space where you can annotate. You can annotate what took place in the conversation. A lot of people think I have a great memory because I have a perfect word picture in my on my prospect list. And what I do is that the way you want to do, you want to leave a word picture. For example, what if, Judy, somebody had to walk in your office today and they had to start calling your lead list? Would they know what to say to that person, or do you just have a name and a phone number there? If you have a great word picture there, anyone can walk into your home office and they could pick up your lead list, any lead list you have. I don't care if you started it 5 years ago. They could pick up your lead list and they could start dialing for dollars immediately. That's the type of word picture we're talking about. Okay. Let's say, for example, I'm talking with Gladys as a prospect. And in my conversation, I'm going to fill her out because I want to know, her family. How many children does she have? I want to know that. I also want to know not only how many children she have, but what's her occupation? What does she enjoy doing in her pastime? Recreation. And then I knew what the message was that I left with her. So this is what we're talking about. Form everyone. FORM. That's what you want to do. Very easy way to remember what you need to be talking about to break the ice with people. And this worked for both warm market and cold market. Now, if you're handling your warm market properly, you shouldn't even have any issue about ever working a cold market. See, understand this. Your cold market will always turn into a warm market. Your cold market will always turn into a warm market. And again, it always go back to this one cycle that we're using. Family, occupation, recreation, money. Get them over to the amazing 3-minute video. Pique their interest. Get feedback from them on what they thought about what's going on in that video. Then once we pique their interest, now, hey, we have a webinar this afternoon at 6:30 p.m. I want to get you on this webinar so you really understand what our great company is all about. And you get them over to the webinar. After the webinar, once they complete the webinar, we already tell them what they need to do on the webinar. Remember, every time I do a webinar, just like clockwork, one of the things I say, hey, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get back with the person who invited you to this webinar tonight. And I want to make sure that your questions are answered to your satisfaction. And once your questions are answered to your satisfaction, the next step is for you to lock in your position. Lock in your position. Once your position is locked in, the next step, what do I tell them? Make a contact list. Make a contact list of everyone you know. And I want you to get them in front of this information as quickly as possible. You see that? Every day we're giving them the margin orders on what they should be doing. Every single day, we're telling them exactly what they need to do when they get on the webinar. There's no per chance they don't know what to do. Their instructions were to get back with you. But in case they don't, what are you going to do? You're going to always follow up. The old saying, there's money in the follow-up. Follow up, follow up, follow up. It's the name of the game. We want to make sure that you follow up with your people. If you don't follow up, remember, the will call will never call. Your prospect is not necessarily, some of them will follow instructions, some of them will not. But it's your responsibility because you want something out of them, so it's your responsibility to initiate the follow-up. Follow up. Get their questions answered. If you can't answer their question, Get one of your upline affiliates on the phone with you to do a 3-way call. And then let's answer their question. Let's get the questions answered, okay? Now, so we're talking about building the list. And once your list is built, you constantly keep adding to your list. Keep adding to your list. You're adding to your list at always. You're always wondering who's going to be lucky enough to run into me today. Because if someone bump into you today, guess what? Your job is to get a name and number. If you're going to give out your information, make sure you collect their information also. That's the name of the game. But always be recruiting. Always. That's what I do. I'm always looking for who can I prospect? And it's anyone. You heard of the 2-foot rule. Anyone get within 2 feet of you, then you should tell them about it. Tell them about it. Be excited. Be excited. Why would someone want to join your team? Ask yourself that question. Why would they want to join my team? Of all the other people they can choose from in the USA and around the world, why would they want to join your team? Why, Judy? Why would they want to be part of your team? Why would they want to be part of your team, Gladys? Ron, same thing. Why would they want to be part of your team? What do you have to offer? What can they bring to the table? It's not just a one-sided thing. When you talk to people and you're talking about recruiting them, just be straight up with them. What can you bring to the table? Judy, you can always say, Judy, I'm a great leader. I'm a great leader, Judy. I can help you grow your business fast. I can help you. But the reality is, I also want to know, what is it that you can bring to the table? I got 10 plus years of being successful in network marketing. What is it that you can bring to the table? What is it that they can bring to the table? Can they bring value to my team? That's one of the things you want to know. When you sponsor someone in the program, are they bringing any value to the team? Or is they really good for the team at all? I think most of you will agree, Mary, everyone is not always good for our team. They're going to create chaos in your team. They're going to be a headache to you in your team. That's why we need to be very selective on who we bring to our team. Some people are just going to be cancer in your organization. They're not here for the right reason. Their heart is not into what we're doing. So what this is going to do for all of us, I think, is that we have an opportunity to learn from each other. I don't care how long you've been in the business. You've never been in the business too long to learn something new. I learn from all of you every single day. I got people who say they're internet marketers who in the organization. But let me just say this. This is a business of relationship. You build relationship. That's what makes your business really work. That's why we call it relationship marketing. That's why we call it network marketing. So it's all about relationship. You need to become a people person. If you're not a people person, learn to become one. Learn to become a people person. Because nobody want to work with someone with a rotten attitude. Everyone want to work with. People like to do business with people they know. If they know you, the rest is easy. They know you, the rest is easy. But keep in mind, listen, I had a guy call me the other day, and just to let you guys know, and one thing that he brought up, he brought up an issue about he having received this phone, and in the conversation, everyone's voice was being raised a notch, because I'm like, you're talking about my World Global Network being no business, then we ready to go into a fist fight. But One thing that he said, hey, Al, listen, I don't know you. I don't know you. And all I know, it's been 3 weeks and I don't see no product. So when he said, I don't know you, what he's saying is that I don't know if I should trust you. You were the face of the company because it's you that presented me the program. So again, I hadn't built a relationship with him. Now, on the other hand, his brother, because I spent time with him and we built a relationship, the brother have no problem with what's going on, giving him the same explanation about the phone that I gave him. The brother has no problem with that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's always about building relationship. Let's always go out and build that relationship with people. It's going to make your job that much easier. And people don't just drop off to the wayside because there's no trust there. It's all about relationship. Judy, is there anything else you want me to touch on while we're here? Anything else? And what I'm going to do, let's stop this recording so it don't be too long. And